Ladies and gentlemen, it's Wednesday, the 8th day of June 2016. We have just seen an incredibly historical event take place with Donald Trump getting more votes than any Republican ever has to completely clinch the nomination. We've also seen the organized criminal with a longer trail of sinister activities than anybody I've ever seen in history get the nomination. Yeah, we've had some bad presidents commit a lot of crimes once they get into office, but this woman is a master criminal, and it is another victory for gimmicks. We have the black president, now it's a woman president. How'd that black president work out for African Americans? Double unemployment. This is a total screw job, but she's stolen the election clearly from Sanders. We're going to cover it all today. We have a jam-packed transmission, but first, I just tweeted this out. It's so important. This video could bring down Hillary Clinton. John Bowne reports on the organized crime syndicate master now in control.
Prepare yourself for the main event. Hillary Clinton has, by most accounts, clinched the Democratic presidential nomination, dragging her mountainous pile of scandals into the last round to possibly make her the next president of the United States. Hillary's rise to the White House is akin to Richard Nixon in reverse. This is the same woman who recently gave a speech on income inequality wearing a $12,000 Armani jacket. The same woman who, according to a Secret Service account, punched Bill Clinton so hard she gave him a black eye. Granted, Bill probably deserved it, but that is only one clear example of the temperament that could quite possibly have access to 1,750 active nuclear warheads.
She's got health issues, and they're going back and asking me and others that have known her since the beginning, what is it about Hillary? And Hillary, Alex, has had a mental issue since day one. She does not like people. She is an animal. She's everything I've told you she is, and it is a mental problem, and that's what's causing her trouble running this election, to be quite honest. You can't make her a people person. You just can't do it. And so that's where we're at. But there's going to be stories about that. But remember, none of these things are going to hurt Hillary. None.
And the Secret Service desperately wants Americans to know that the real Hillary Clinton is a monster. According to Page 6, Secret Service agent Gary Byrne writes in his new tell-all book that Hillary repeatedly screamed obscenities at her husband, Secret Service personnel, and White House staffers, all of whom lived in terror of her next tirade. Secret Service agents had discussions about the possibility that they would have to protect Bill from his wife's physical attacks, Burns writes. And the couple had one violent encounter the morning of a key presidential address to the nation. Will Hillary spend the first 100 days of her presidency pardoning herself and permanently silencing her husband's accusers, simultaneously sicking the IRS and the FBI on the Clintons' enemies? Here are just a few of the unanswered scandals that will surface yet again when Hillary is president, courtesy of WorldNet Daily. Vince Foster's 1993 death, Benghazi, Whitewater, Emailgate, Chinagate, Travelgate, Pardongate, the Clinton body count, where 91% of the Clinton Foundation's money really went. Hillary's assistant, Muslim Brotherhood-tied Huma Abedin's involvement with the Saudis to establish a Muslim America, and we could be here all day if I just kept on going, but it appears stealing the Democratic presidential nomination is child's play to the career criminal known as Hillary Rodham Clinton. The Clintons even attempted to loot the White House when Bill's term ended. The Clintons tried to take $190,000 from the presidential mansion in furniture and gifts, attempting to have it shipped back to the Clintons' Chappaqua, New York home. And according to the General Accounting Office, the cost of the White House vandalism reached about $14,000. The agency said some of the destruction was intentional, including glue smeared on desks, broken furniture, offices full of trash, and graffiti in a men's restroom stall that disparaged Bush. There were also missing doorknobs, medallions, and office signs. Is there any question that Hillary will sign away any remaining sovereignty the United States has left to her globalist overlords, acting as the cleanup crew for Obama's two-term facade of a presidency, carrying on the Bush presidency's unyielding New World Order disintegration of the U.S. Constitution? John Bowne for Infowars.com.
Get the video out. It's on Infowars.com. Well, we have seen unprecedented developments in our constitutional republic that is under siege. Hillary Clinton undoubtedly has stolen the election from Bernie Sanders. I hate Bernie Sanders. I don't just get up here and say that they've stolen it from him because I just want to say that. It's a fact we're going to go over today. It was done in plain view. Even New York Daily News and other major liberal publications admit that he got more votes across the country than Hillary. And mind you, that's with them stealing elections day one in places like New Hampshire, where he would win by 20 points but get less delegates than Hillary. So that creates the perception, oh, don't vote for him, he can't win. That's what they hoped to do, stealing it early. People didn't care. They still went for Bernie Sanders because they hate Hillary so much. And I've bashed Bernie supporters until I've gone out in public and seen people wearing Bernie shirts. And most of them are listeners. And they're like, listen, we want to audit the Fed. We like you. We like Ron Paul. You know, we know he's pretty extreme on socialism, but we think he's anti-establishment, which he clearly is. They're going after him. And so I got to give it to Bernie Sanders. It's hard to say that. It is hard to say that. For not giving up last night and saying he's going to keep going forward. Now, he's saying he's going to keep fighting to have power at the convention for the platform. Nobody, you need to come out and take the gloves off and say, I won New Hampshire. I won over 10 states, they admit that he won, where the superdelegates met in secret and then decided who the delegates voted for. And by the way, in California, Leanne McAdoo was there for 2 days. She's still there today. 80% or more of the people, she's putting together a report on it, of just hundreds of interviews, exit polls, you name it, said, no, I'm voting for Bernie Sanders. In fact, for a day, she couldn't find anybody on the street that was for Hillary. She had to go to polling places to find some, and to Hillary rallies with Biggs to find them. They were all there last night for the Hillary rally, all of it. They're going to be on air with us today, a huge broadcast, but wow. I mean, forget Hillary, forget Sanders, forget Trump, okay? Forget all that. We're at a point where they are now implementing rules that they never implemented to say your vote doesn't count. Now, the good news is when the Republicans tried it with Donald Trump, with a confidence game going, of course your vote never counted. It blew up in their face. They had to back off. With the force feeding they try to engage in of Kasich and Cruz and the rest of it. With Democrats, though, it remains to be seen, and they're saying the AP is warning its reporters of violent Bernie supporters. The police are bracing in Philadelphia for the crisis of the Bernie supporters. Everyone is scared of the Bernie supporters. They're coming. They're so evil. Now, they have attacked our reporters. They have beat people up. So have Hillary supporters. They are socialists. They are stupid. They think they're getting something for free, many of them. Those that aren't just protest voting. They're angry, like you're robbing something from them because you're not going to put Bernie in and you're going to keep them from their free ride, their free lunch. But when you do steal the popular vote from people, it becomes a dictatorial situation, and then that's the only time violence begins to become a discussional issue. I mean, what are Bernie supporters supposed to do when they go vote for Bernie and then Hillary gets it? And I'm not advocating violence, let's be clear. I'm simply saying at some point we're going down a road that now we understand why they want our guns, because if it's going to be so dictatorial, it's going to get bad, and we won't have a choice but to defend ourselves. Now, the good news is Obama clearly wanted to have martial law. He tried to get special forces and regular Army and Marines openly ready for it. They even tried to put it in the news the last few years like it was no big deal. Oh, we got internet kill switches and re-education camps. They use that term, Soviet term. And yeah, we're training for insurrection to take over some cities and go after the Tea Party and veterans and gun owners and Christians. You saw all those stories. We tell you about it 8 years ago. They deny it. Now they go, yeah, that's what we're gearing up for. But what happens when you train the regular Army, the regular Marines, and even Air Force security in that? A lot of them wake up. Then you train special forces people whose motto is free the oppressed, stuff like that. That's the Army's motto in Latin. I'm paraphrasing from memory. Will you guys pull up the Green Beret motto? I believe it's defend or free the oppressed. I'm going from memory. SAS is fortune favors the bold. But The issue is, you think that woke them up when they were openly briefed? Yeah, we're looking at taking over governorships. We're looking at installing governors. That's why the military is so incredibly awake now and listens to this show, because it's the only place they can tune in to hear what they actually heard behind closed doors. And they go, that guy knows everything down to the exact words. That's because I've reverse engineered their whole program for 20 years. The first year on air, I wasn't that informed, but a lot of old timers and people that had been in the military and in COG and in higher levels of government, they knew about it because these plans had been developed earlier, but not on a mass scale. They had developed the plans and had them, very limited groups were aware of them, maybe a few thousand people. Now they're trying to get tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of people ready to move with these COG takeover plans. And it is the biggest brimming hot cup of high-octane coffee to wake people up this country's ever seen. So the globalists have made some miscalculations, but they've got their Black Lives Matters, communist groups, and others warmed up and ready for civil insurrection. That'll get mainline patriots of every race, color, and creed to support the military in the streets, because you'll need the military in the streets. But that's phase one. Once that's established, then they stage false flags. They blame the patriots. Then they start trying to arrest patriots. And the military has to know that's the plan, and they do know that's the plan. So good luck running that plan, New World Order. So we're in kind of a Mexican standoff here. They'll say, oh, that's racist. That's how mentally ill political correctness has gotten now, where you say, give me a white Russian. Why are you bashing Russians? No, it's a Russian drink, or a Moscow mule, or a Mexican standoff is a term out of Mexico of where you got everybody pointing guns at each other in a room so that nobody can, make a move without knowing they're about to get it. The most famous Mexican standoff is in the film The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly with Lee Van Cleef. And I forget the great actor that plays Tuco, and then, of course, the immortal Clint Eastwood. But I digress. And that's what we're in, is a gigantic Mexican standoff of the New World Order, because they want to run this whole takeover program and not have people there reporting on it and exposing it. They're running a paradigm that's based on them controlling all the media. Now, because they don't control it, they go, well, we'll just start censoring it and we'll start blocking it out. No, ladies and gentlemen, because we're aware of that program, so your attempt to move in with that only stirs up the hornet's nest that much more. So here's the bottom line. We're not winning the war, but we are in a Mexican standoff, and we are gaining momentum. And the enemy knows that. So the answer is to ram it into turbo gear, take off all the governors, fix our will on restoring the human awakening, and we can have a new renaissance right like that. Because it's a spiritual deception that's over these zombies out there that don't know which end is up. It's not just educational. It's not just cultural. It is a spirit of jellyfish behavior. I watched last night during the live coverage for 4 hours. The crew did a great job. Our reporters all over the world, from Germany to California to right here in Austin, and our anchors doing a wonderful job. And in between watching the live feed, I watched clip after clip of the people that Leanne's interviewing, the Hillary supporters and the Bernie supporters. These are the most infantile, jellyfish-like, sad, stupid, unironic people. These are victims. And I really almost cried. Look what they've done to them. But I just want to see light back in their eyes. I want to see them understand what real prosperity is. I want to see them just have some basic understanding of what's being done to them. And I want to see them awake and alive. I'm telling you, liberals, I don't care if they're black, white, or Hispanic, or Asian, they all look like somebody sucked the soul out of them. Look, there's no fire in their eyes. They stutter. They can hardly talk. They don't know geography, politics. They just know how to say LGBT, homophobe, racist, transphobic, we need tranny bathrooms. I mean, look what they've done to them. Look what this dependence has done to them. And I'm not defending conservatism. That's its own wrecked, mentally ill, rhino-run thing. But, I mean, these people are all just gibbering idiots who think they're in power because Hillary's about to win, or think they're in power because Bernie's about to win, who are getting reflected glory from it and feel like they're succeeding. These are